Okie dokie. In this mission, we can start getting data from the GraphCMS GraphQL endpoint and adding it to our project. Before we do that, I'm going to need to commit these changes to Git. Over in VS Code, I'm going to pop open the source control sidebar. You can access this from here on the action bar. It's going to hide the action bar again. I'm going to use conventional commits to add a new feature with no scope and add in some sparkles. With the message, add about page and add head to pages. I want to add a longer description to the message, and that can be committed. Let's close the source control panel now. Now I'm going to install a couple of packages, the GraphQL request package and the JavaScript language implementation for GraphQL. I'm going to hop over to my terminal. I'll stop the dev server. I'm going to use npm I-D for dev dependencies, and it's GraphQL request and GraphQL. Now the dependencies are installed, I can use GraphQL request to set up a client on the index page. Let's go back over to VS Code, and in here I'm going to add a script tag, much like I did in the layout example, but this time adding in context module. This means that any code between these script tags is run before the page loads. I'll also need to add in the load function. This is the function that runs before the page loads. This is export async. Now I can create a GraphQL client to request the data from the GraphCMS endpoint. I'm going to import the GQL tag and the GraphQL client from the GraphQL request package. You notice I left the import empty. This is because we can use VS Code IntelliSense to pick out the GraphQL tag and the GraphQL client. Now in my load function, I can define the GraphCMS client. Client initialization takes in the endpoint and any headers needed. In this case, we can leave the headers object empty. Now with the client initialized, I can define the launches query we did in the previous video. And that goes in some backticks. And now I'm just going to paste this in here. Now I'm going to want to define the data. I want to return from the GraphCMS client. So that will be launches, which is here. And it looks like GitHub Copilot is doing its thing here. So I'm just going to hit tab to complete that. We're going to await the response from the GraphCMS client, passing in the request query. Let's hit save. Now, we're not quite done yet because this function needs to return props. That's going to be launches. Now we have our code defined to run before the page loads. We're going to need to get the props from here into the component here. The way to do that is with a script tag. And this is going to accept the launches object, and just getting the linter telling me that it's not being used. So in here, just a quick proof of concept, I'm just going to use a pre-tag and then add in launches into here. Hit save, and then start the dev server with npm run dev, and I'm going to pass in the port I'm using, which is 3333, and hit enter. Now if I go over to the browser, you can see that I'm getting the information for each of the launches from the GraphCMS GraphQL endpoint. Okay, that's it for this one. In the next video, we'll be taking a look at the Svelte each directive to add the launches data to some markup on the page. See you then. Bye bye.